Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about who I believe are the best point guards in free agency. I will talk about who have options and who is more likely to hit free agency or even change teams. So before we start today's video, I want to hear who are your best free agent point guards and who is your most likely to stay. As you guys see, I just got a bunch of messages. But yeah, so let's get right into this. And this is my list. I got Chris Paul, Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry, Lonzo Ball, Spencer Dinwiddie, Derrick Rose, Dennis Schroeder, Teague McConnell, Reggie Jackson, Devonte Graham, shout out KU, Alex, I almost said Alexis, Alex Caruso, Cameron Payne, Goran Dragic, Ish Smith, Patty Mills, Alfred Payton, Raul Neto, who's arguably is more of a combo guard, Chris Dunn, Jeff Teague, Mike James. So let's get right into it. Chris Paul, he's going to sign a 2-year +1. And I had over here my boy, right here, Hollinger was talking about it. So if you guys want to look right here, pause the video. This is the deal because of the over 38 rule. He's going to probably sign a 2-year deal with the option to opt out in the 3rd year, or just a 3-year deal. It's probably going to be 2 + 1 with a player option, and the most he can make is $123 million if he tries to sign a 3-year deal with another team. But if he stays, he could make $144 million the same period. Think they're going to do it because look, Kawhi's probably not going to play next year, so they're going to take advantage of that situation. Now Mike Conley. Mike Conley's interesting. How much do I think he's going to get? Well, I think he's going to stay in Utah. Another guy that we could look over here, Mike Conley. They have him making 25, but he's probably going to end up making 25 and sign either a 2 or 3-year deal for about 25 a year. So like I really see a bit 50 to 75 million, maybe 80 million. We could see 95 at most. So it's interesting, but the Jazz are going to face a luxury tax. So that's who I think is going to go, or as the two who are going to stay for sure, Mike Conley and our boy, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, Chris Paul. Now Kyle Lowry, this is what The Athletic says. John Hollinger, 35 years old. He's probably going to sign a 2-year, $50 million deal. Now that is a good deal for him, and he just averaged 17.5 points, 5.4 rebounds, 7.5 assists on 44% from the field and 40% from 3. Now what I think is going to happen is a sign and trade. Look, they tried moving him on the deadline, and this is just showing the Raptors have other players they got to sign. Gary Trent, Chris Boucher, a bunch of other players that I think they rather go for. They're moving on from Kyle Lowry. Now a team that I think is probably going to go for him, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers. You know, he could be a last resort for the Los Angeles Lakers or even Clippers. I think maybe a team, I don't know, maybe the Knicks, but I think the Knicks would go for someone else. They have all that money. I think those are really all the best contending teams they could go for him. And he's going to be a guy, $25 million a year. He's still a great defender, reliable playmaker, but he's got to be the 3rd or 4th option. He can't be the first 1 or 2 option for a team at this point in his career. And I really like the idea of Miami with the 1 and 2 being Butler and Adebayo, with Lowry backing up the the backcourt with Tyler Hero. I kind of fuck with that. Now Lonzo Ball, supposedly someone's been saying, and I've seen a lot of buzz, he's like a done deal to go to Chicago. Let me hear your opinions down below on that one. Back-to-back years on, I think it's 37.5% three-point shooting. So anybody who says he's a bad three-point shooter, go F yourself. Now, what I believe they should do, again, another guy I think they should sign and trade. If they do sign and trade him, the problem is they probably hurt their cap. So they might have to just let Lonzo walk and try to get somebody else. I don't want New Orleans to keep him. Personally, I don't want New Orleans to keep him because I think New Orleans should go in a different avenue. And I think Lonzo should go to Chicago, pair up with Levine and Vooch and Pat Williams and Thad Young. That would be a great starting lineup right there. Thad at the 4, Vooch at the 5, Pat at the 3, Levine at the 2, Lonzo at the 1. Oh my God, the defense and the two-way ability of that team. Whew. Spencer Dinwiddie's probably going to get $10 to $15 million. And at one point, he's a guy who can be a high teens, another second option on a playoff team. I think he's more ideal on a contending team, a third option, like if he was the big part of a big three. But I really think he's either perfect as the backup point guard for an elite point guard, or six man, or really being a starter in a team that, like, overall, like, I would really like him to go to Boston, but I don't think that's feasible. Now, Kemba Walker would be in this list. I think Kemba would be, I think, right here. Yeah, I think he'd be like 4. Like right here, 4. If Kemba was on this list, Kemba, Spencer Dinwiddie, Derrick Rose, and Dennis Schroeder, I think, are all on the same level as like what you get from them. They're gonna boost your depth, but they're not. I think Lonzo, Lowry, Conley, and Paul change your team and make you go from whatever you were and go a tier above, while Walker to Dinwiddie to Rose to Schroeder are guys who bolster the depth and make you better as a team. Because like Dinwiddie coming off an injury, and he's a guy who can drop points, pass the rock, grab rebounds, and hit the shot, but he's coming off an injury. Derrick Rose, I think he's just going to re-sign with the Knicks. He loves Tom Thibodeau. I think it's too early for a Chicago reunion. He's going to go to Chicago when he's 34 or 36. Whenever he decides he wants to play his last 2 years, that's when he'll go to Chicago. Dennis Schroeder, he bucked up. He had a 4-year $90 million deal, or a 3-year $90 million deal, something ridiculous like that. And now he's probably only going to get like 10, 11. He looked awful in the playoffs at points. And he had a 33.5% three-point shot this past year. Just a decent scorer, and he can make plays. Not like going to be a high-end assister, and he's a decent backcourt defender. So TJ McConnell, I would rather have. He's a guy who, he's not elite at anything, but he's not a jack of any trades, but he's very good at everything. He had like 2 steals a game. He grabs boards. He passes the ball well. He won't steal shots from anybody, but he's willing to shoot them. Not the best three-point shooter, but he'll take them. Reggie Jackson looked like a GOAT. 18 points a game during the playoffs. He literally could be a 6th man of the year next year. I have Malik Beasley winning it if Chris Finch does what I think Chris Finch is going to do. But a contending team that gets Reggie Jackson, he could be a 6th man for you guys. Really could be a starter. Now, Devonte Graham, people forgot about him, but it's 37.5%. Yet, ignore the field goal. Just look at the 3-point percentage and 15 points with Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball playing in front of him. That's nice. And he even had a better year the year before. The shooting efficiencies, don't look at that. If he goes to a team like the Raptors, where a team with a good shooting coach, he'll have that fixed. Caruso, one of the better energy players, transition players, really good defender. He can hit the 3-point shot at 40%. He seems like a guy who could be in vain, like similar to McConnell, but more athletic, and not more athletic, but the transition plays that he makes and the reverse layups and stuff. But what I'm saying is he's a better shooter, and he seems like a guy could average 10 points, 12 points with like 5, 6 assists, 3 or 4 rebounds, and similar shooting splits. Cameron Payne having a great playoffs, and he's really improved his way. And he's a guy who's a perfect backup point guard for any team. And I really hope Phoenix keeps him. That's all I got to say there. Goran Dragic, they're going to decline his option. Look at those stats. 14 points, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 43.2% from the field, 37.3 from 3. Not bad, but he's not what he used to be. And I expect him to leave Miami. Ish Smith had a great year. He's back-to-back year, like 36.7% from 3. He's getting better and better. Patty Mills, San Antonio, he's going to stay. Alfred Payne's a really good defender, and he can pass, but he can't shoot. And yeah, he gets 10 points a game, but you don't really want him scoring. Raul Neto, great. He had like 1.5 steals per game while shooting almost 40% from three. Great player. Undersized, but he's a pesky defender, kind of like in the line of Facu Campazzo. Chris Dunn, I think he's going to accept that option and stay in Atlanta because I don't think anyone's going to pay him $5 million, and just give yourself another shot with a team that needs a backup point guard. Jeff Teague, he sucked in Boston, but he made up for it in Milwaukee. Mike James, he's staying in the NBA after what he did for the Nets, just being a guy who's has a lot of confidence as a scorer and off the dribble, and he can hit shots all over the floor and get the occasional steal. So that's my list. Now, option guys, Chris Dunn, I think he's going to opt in, and Goran Dragic, they're going to decline. Devonte Graham's leaving. Restricted free agents, I'll say the same. Spencer Dinwiddie already declined his option. Lonzo's leaving. Kyle Lowry's leaving. Mike Conley and Chris Paul will stay. Let me hear you guys' thoughts down below of the video. Till next one, guys. Peace.